Hello! Welcome back to another week of Go Get That Rose with your hosts Sarah and Jay. I am Sarah.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Jay Wade.
That's Jay, trying something different. We are recapping the third episode of Katie's season of The Bachelorette. For anyone that's new that's joining us, we do not recap the episode point by point. We just really like to talk about, argue about things. So yeah, it's just like two friends just talking about The Bachelor, Bachelorette, I guess. We will have an update about our fantasy league. Yes, please stay tuned for that. It's going to be interesting. And okay, let's jump into it because me and Jay have been talking about this episode. I feel like we are going to have completely different point of views, which is going to make for an interesting show. So let's go. I really like this episode. I think this was a great episode. I think all of the drama that happened, for the most part, was pretty natural. Jay shaking his head. I really just love this episode. I got some new favorites. I got some people I don't like. And I will get into it. Now, Jay, in the other corner, how did you feel about this episode?
There were a couple of nice moments in the episode, but overall I found it to be gross, stupid, pathetic, and hard to watch are the things that I think of right now.
That's pretty harsh. Before we jump into it, I want to ask, how are you feeling about, after that episode, or the past couple episodes, how are you feeling about the season moving forward?
I don't know. I'm not as excited as I was before it started.
Do you still like her as the lead?
I mean, okay, as the lead, yes, I like her as the lead.
I think she's doing great.
Yeah, I do too. I don't, as far as like, as time, and it's natural as time goes on, we get to know a little bit more about the person, you know what I mean? And as time goes on, I like her less, but...
Really?
Yeah, but as a lead, yes, she's doing very...
Why do you like her less?
There are just things about her that annoy me, and okay, because you got to think, when I view this, I'm looking at it like, as if I'm there and I'm looking at her qualities and how she holds herself. And I'm like putting myself in the perspective of I'm there and I'm competing for her too. And like, you know, so I'm constantly like, okay, I like that. Or like, nah, that kind of turns me off. That kind of stuff, you know, like things like if it were a real person or she were really in front of me and they were doing or saying some of these things, then I would kind of be like, no, thank you. You know?
Like what? Come on, Thomas, give me specifics. Come on, Carl, give me just.
It's just stuff that I've heard floating around in the air.
Okay.
And I don't. I mean,
the way she words things.
I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus or anything. I can't do. But you should trust me, and you should be on guard. And so.
Oh gosh, you want to get into the Carl drama?
Dude, that guy is a POS.
He was a good villain.
Yes, for sure. I was actually kind of thinking she was going to keep him around still.
She said she was going to keep him.
Well, I meant after that, after when she was getting down to the last rose, I'm like, dude,
there's no way.
Well, they kept doing it in the past couple seasons of Bachelorette I've seen. It's like we see a clear villain, a clear a-hole, but she continuously keeps him around. So I was like, well, we're just going to follow suit. But no,
I don't think she was that into him.
That too. It was so clear that, okay, here's what happened, everybody. Aaron ratted out the other dude and got him booted out. So Katie praised Aaron in front of everyone. So Carl, who came in from the very get-go talking about it like a game and using words like compete, competition, winning a rose, stuff like that, okay? he saw that and was like, man, I'm not doing very well, because we saw him talking like, I got to get a rose. I got to get a rose. You know, I can't leave. And so he saw that and he was like, well, okay, I'll do that too, except, well, I don't have anything to tell her about.
Yeah.
And
he didn't have any names.
Yeah, so the best he can do is just do what he did. You know, like, listen, and it's so obvious. I don't know why she didn't pick up on it, right? Like,
yeah.
He's doing like the shady thing by trying to discredit everyone else and elevate himself. You know what I'm saying? But like, it's just so terribly gross, and it was so obvious to me. I don't understand. Like,
I loved how he kept changing the story when he was like talking to the guys, and he was like, yeah, the one person wants to come to me and talk about it, and they're like, you just said it was a bunch of people, and he's like, yeah, you know who you are, I didn't call out anyone. He's like, you called out everything.
Yeah.
And then even when he was talking, when he like left and was like shadowboxing, which everyone is going crazy over, and he like just like a high school villain, like, you know, and he was like contradicting himself in his like what are those called, interview segments, because he was saying like, yeah, I didn't say anything, but I forget exactly what he said, but he would say one thing like, yeah, none of the guys are here for the right reason, and then 2 seconds later it would cut to him saying like, but they're like, the person that isn't here, they know, and they're doing this on, and anyone who's getting upset in this situation is the one that it has a guilty mind. And I'm like, you're talking about yourself. Like, you're literally. So do we think that he was there for the right reasons, or, well,
no, he said it himself earlier, like in episode 2. He said it himself. He was there to win the game.
Yeah.
He said it himself, dude. He was there to win the game, which means he was not there for anyone except himself.
I think his plan backfired. I think what you said was exactly right about seeing Aaron and how that worked out well for Aaron, and then wanting to do the same thing. And then I think he was, because he looked kind of shocked, like, oh my gosh. Did you like especially because he got all the men, but like all of the men in the house mad. They all formed a union against him, which is hilarious. I love that. But when you said that you weren't sure if Katie was going to send him home, did you? I knew as soon as all the guys and Mike came up and told her, like, we all don't think Carl's here for the right reasons and stuff like that.
The one guy who interrupted the ceremony. Dude, I'm going to say this, and I want to be exactly clear when I feel about these guys because of that move and their whole, like, not just this move sealed it, but like the buildup was them last week all being like, we got to protect her, we got to, you know, all this, like, you know, that was the buildup. Yes, last night, that move that dude pulled on behalf of all of the other guys, those guys are a bunch of cucks.
Why?
They are.
Why? I think they voted him to be the one to talk. Because he was talking, and they were all nodding their heads, like, preach, brother.
Move, dude. The whole move was so fucking weak. It was
Why?
so, man. Because, okay, dude, they don't like that this guy's manipulated. Dude, listen, bottom line, it is not her show. It's her show.
Well, that's what Caitlyn said. Caitlyn was like, at the end of the day, it's your decision, not their decision.
Yeah, like, but they're stepping over the line, man. They're weak bastards. For real.
Because he said we all agree that Carl is not here for the right reasons, or whatever Carl said was not the truth.
Yeah, they're all weak fuckers.
I disagree. I respect the hell out of that.
It was a stupid fucking pandering move, and it was.
What do you mean? What are you talking? How is it pandering?
Okay,
they're defending their queen.
Never mind. I am not, dude. After that stupid comment, I love you, but after that stupid comment, I'm not. I'm done talking about that.
That's what Mike said. He kept saying, "We gotta defend our queen." I was like, "Oh my god." I would be okay. Okay. This confuses me. This whole episode has really confused me on the sense of like some of the guys kept saying things like, it was Mike specifically kept saying like, it's our jobs as men to protect our woman, to protect our wife, to protect our lady, and to protect her heart, and to do all, and that is a very Christian thing to say. So that's how I know it was Mike. But to say, like, we need to come together and protect our queen and stuff like that, which honestly, I mean, some women, I'm sure, love that. But honestly, I think that's really kind of offensive towards Katie, that, like, she's not strong enough to make her own decisions or to protect her own heart or know that Carl isn't you know what I mean? Like, I understand where you're coming from, where, like, okay, I guess, like.
She also encouraged it, though, too, by praising Aaron the way she did. And I think at one point she even was like, praise them again for, like, you know, you guys have, you know, I'm depending on you to be my eyes and ears. Dude.
Oh, but they all say that. That's Bachelor lingo.
Ridiculous, man. That is not what they need to be doing. If I'm there, I'm worried about me and her. I don't give a rat's ass about anybody else.
But that's something that the producers, I'm pretty sure, tells them, because that's in every season. It's how you get the drama started. It's how you get the people that are like
saying, like, is it a suggestion or a demand? See, that's what it's bullshit, man. It's so fucking.
What's bullshit? What are you talking about?
Demand, or is it a request when production says, hey, maybe you should all get together and, you know, be like, stand up against Carl?
I think it's a request. I think it's a, hey, you should do this, and the guys that are like, yeah, I need to protect my woman do. But I mean, and then there's a lot of them that are just kind of like, okay, whatever. Like, it creates drama. It creates television. It creates a unit.
That's what's stupid about it.
I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know what to tell me either.
I don't know. I liked it. We lost some people. I only lost one person on my team. We'll get into it later, but I'm just very proud. I remember I said all my guys are going home. No, my man David got called first this week. Yay me! Okay. Oh, and then Carl left and literally, like, didn't say anything to anyone and just walked out. And I was like, wow, you literally just proved it. Like, you just proved it.
Yep.
I thought that was funny.
I really don't like that guy at all.
No. I don't think he might be in Paradise. I don't know. I've seen some pictures of, like, who's going to be there. So excited. Paradise is going to be crazy.
Who you know is going to be there. See, this I don't care about, like, who's going to be on the show.
It hasn't been confirmed by, this is a little break. It hasn't been confirmed by ABC, I don't think, but I've seen, like, other people are crazy all over the internet, like, checking who hasn't been on social media. We have a lot of people, Queen Victoria's there. I heard not for that long. A lot of the Mean Girls, also not for that long. Crap. Some of the guys from this season, I know. I can't remember if Carl was in the picture or not, but I know at least two of them. We have a former Bachelorette, Becca, is going back, which is crazy. And Tia. Wait, did you watch the season with Tia and Colton? No. Did we watch that one?
Is that the one where Demi's girlfriend came about mid-season?
No, but Demi is also going to be back, I heard.
Yes! Oh, I love, dude, as long as Demi and Wells.
Wells is confirmed to be back as the bartender.
Demi and Wells hanging out at the bar. That's all I want. Like, every week, the entire 2 hours, Demi and Wells sitting at the bar having a drink and just shooting the shit and making fun of everybody and shit as they walk around.
I'm so excited. I don't really remember anyone else. I think there's a rumor that Blake will be back again this season, which I'm super excited about because he was Becca's runner-up, so everyone's really hoping that they get back together. Yeah, that's all. There's some people... Huh? I'm so excited.
I love Bachelor in Paradise. That's the
It's
only
gonna be
one
crazy.
fun to watch.
We have people from Peter's season, Claire and Tayshia's season, Matt James' season, this season, and then just past the whole pool of Bachelor people. It's gonna be crazy. But speaking of crazy, okay, this is where me and Jay really disagree. Speaking of past Bachelor people, we had Nick Viall, who is one of my favorite Bachelor people. I personally think the best Bachelor and best person to come out of Bachelor Nation. He was on The Bachelorette twice. He was runner-up twice, 2 seasons in a row, which is insane. Then he was on Paradise, and he was The Bachelor. So he's done the show like 4 times. He has his own podcast that I listen to called The Viall Files. And he does this thing called Ask Nick, and people ask him like relationship questions, which I think really was the inspiration for this date. So I was listening to his podcast because he also does Bachelor recaps, and I was listening to the podcast, and he really went into depth about a lot of the guys that were on the date, his thoughts about Thomas, and about like Aaron and all this stuff, which was great. So the way that he described, it sounded like he was the one that came up with this idea and kind of pitched it to the producers, and it was supposed to be more like a relationship like question thing, like they would talk about like any questions they had, and they would like workshop through different things, and then it kind of turned into what we saw, which was time to air out your dirty secrets and your dirty laundry. Which I'm going to be honest, I really liked this idea. I really, really liked this segment. Here's the thing. I know Jay is disagreeing with me. Here's the thing. I think things like this, especially on television, especially where things can be edited and cut, and we don't see a lot of things, does not translate well to television because... Or really, I don't know. I think it's difficult because the guys didn't. I think Nick even said in the podcast it was supposed to be more kind of not lighthearted, but more just like, yeah, I ghosted. He even said like, talk about you ghosted, cheated, like little things like that. And he said, and then some of the people just started like really going there. Right. And I think that's what, I mean, we talked earlier, and that's what you were, like, upset about. But for me, like, when I rewatched the episode, it seemed like they tried to make it in an environment where if you wanted to go deep and talk about these awful things, you can, but you don't have to feel the pressure to. But the problem with that, and I've been in situations like small groups and stuff like that, when one person... Like, when Hunter starts talking about his marriage falling apart, then the next person feels like, oh, I need to one-up and talk about my darkest secret. And then I need to talk about my darkest secret. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I liked it, and I also questioned it at the same time.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jay.
No, okay. I'm willing to bet that when they signed up, they did not sign up to have a, as you called it earlier, behind the scenes, a therapy session, which is what it was.
It was the therapy session.
And dude, therapy's a serious.
I bet they do. I'm sorry. You signed a contract to do anything.
Well, not any, dude. I mean, come on.
They literally signed their lives away to do anything. Dude. They had them stripped naked, okay?
You're being extremely broad with that. You were saying anything under the sun.
You don't think this would be included? Like, they're going on television to talk about these things that they're going to bring up anyway on one-on-one situations.
No, this specifically, I don't. I think this specifically stemmed from the last week's episode, and all that drama with Aaron and all of that. This stemmed from that, and I don't think they knew at all that this was going to happen. And therapy's a serious thing. And, you know, speaking as someone who's gone through it for years, it's a serious thing. And even though, dude, there are times I don't want to go and talk to my own fucking doctor because I'm not in a good place and I don't want to talk about stuff. Right. And it just, I thought it was terrible. I thought it was disgusting that they would put them on the spot like that in that kind of an emotional position. I think it was just nothing but digging for gossip, for entertainment, which I think is also gross. And it was just hard to watch for me, man. To me, it was clearly production sitting in a back room going, dude, we're going to get some real juicy, dirty, gossipy stuff here. And I just don't like that stuff. If these people are coming here and they're like trying to find love or whatever, then you know that their feelings are already going to be hurt along the way several times. And I just think it's really fucking disgusting how production increases the amount increases the possibilities and the chances of them getting hurt, and they put them intentionally in positions where they are going to feel like shit, like the guys who talked about like their wife passing or you know, divorce or all that kind of stuff. I mean, dude, that shit hurt them, and maybe they weren't ready to talk about that. And even if you don't have anything to that extent to talk about in a situation like that, if you're not comfortable, you're just simply not comfortable with a bunch of strangers that you don't know, and you're thrust into this situation where you're expected to open up and give something, and it's natural to not be comfortable and not want to do that, except with the person that you're there to talk to, which is Katie. Okay? And if you're gonna do that to people, it's not right, man. It really bothered me. I don't know. It just really bothered me. It just wasn't cool, man.
Right on.
So it really did. Like, since I joke around a lot and I rant a lot, but like, I don't like it when people intentionally put others in a position that could hurt them on any level, emotionally, physically. I just don't like it. And the reasons they're doing it is for entertainment, and the reasons for that is to make money. And I don't care if they signed up for it or not, man. They didn't sign. There are specific things that I don't think they like. I guarantee, well, I don't guarantee it, but I would not imagine it's in the contract where it's like, you may be in a therapy session and expect, you know, and if they don't say something, like if they say respectfully, look, I came here to talk to you, I'm not comfortable in this situation, chances are he's going to be sent home because he didn't participate, and it's going to look like he's got something to hide. And that's not right either. It's just, I just don't like it, man. But anyway.
I respect that.
Thank you.
I respect your point of view and opinion. Yeah, that is true. That is it is pretty fucked up to play with people's emotions. I mean, yeah, because what if, especially from like a therapy point of view, what if they just mentally weren't able to go there, and then they're going to have to deal with opening up those emotions for the next couple of days or whatever. I just think, looking at it in the entertainment view, which is kind of what we do, I just think that, I mean, they were going to have to do it at some point. Like, and I think that I like the concept of this date. I think it went well, but I also understand, like, I think it kind of got away from them as well. Because I think, like I said, like, it's just one of those things that once people start sharing, you know, like, growing up, going to youth group, doing this kind of stuff all the time, which is maybe why I'm messed up. You always have that one kid where you're just talking about light things, like, yeah, I didn't brush my teeth, or yeah, I didn't pray enough today, or whatever. And then you have the one kid that's like, yeah, my mom and dad getting divorced, and my sister tried to, like, you know what I mean, just out of nowhere. And you're like, that is not what we're talking about. And then the next person's like, yeah, well, my mom and dad never got married. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just go, you're just trying to unintentionally one-up each other. And then it just kind of becomes this, like, out of control. Like, Nick even said that there were some guys that he could tell were, like, trying to, like, force tears out or try and, like, amp it up because other people were trying to amp up theirs. And, yeah, and Katie even said, like, it got way more serious than we thought it would. I didn't really expect a lot of these guys to, like, open up all the way, and they really did. And they got deep and all this stuff. I think it got away from them, and you're right. It could be dangerous, and they didn't really sign up to just pour this all out. But at the same time, they also had the decision to share what they wanted to share, and I don't think Hunter and Connor B seemed to go the deepest. Like, they could have, you know what I mean? Like, you still are in control to say, like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I would handle it, but I'm just saying, like, they still planned on kind of opening up. I think Nick even said, like, he said a lot of people, like, don't really open up, and it's important to start sharing this stuff early on. You're going to do it anyway. Like, let's kind of get there. But I also understand it's like the same thing with, like, Mike last week kind of being forced to share that he was a virgin. Maybe he wasn't ready to do that. It's kind of like this. Like, maybe 100% Connor was not ready to share that story with Katie, and he was kind of forced to in front of all the guys that he still not really knows that well. So it's kind of this, like, whatever situation. So yeah, maybe I had mixed emotions.
Well, I will say that there was one part of that was extremely entertaining and fun, and it was a dude who just
Thomas?
could not help it. Yeah, he couldn't help but just fuck himself.
So we were shown these, like, dark, heavy stories and people, like, crying and Aaron trying to cry and all this stuff, and then you get to Thomas, who's just, like, smiling and having fun. And Nick said that they cut it out, but Nick said that Thomas started out with, like, first, Nick, I just want to say I loved your seasons. I loved you. I love that most of the guys knew who Nick was. They were like, it's Nick. I thought that was so funny. And he's like, loved you on Andy's season, and that was the first Bachelorette he went on. And Nick was a villain. Like, everyone hated Nick on that season. So Nick was like, okay, well, you're full of crap because no one liked me on Andy's season. So now you're just trying to butter me up. And then he was like, yeah, oh, Thomas. Thomas was kind of all over the place. Whenever he talks, he's all over the place. And I've heard a lot of people say when he's, like, talking to Katie, and this is what a lot of the villain guys will do, is they'll talk about their relationship, but they won't spend time getting to know Katie in that talking. You know what I mean? It's always like, we have a great relationship, and it's so strong, and you're so great, and it's just wonderful. That's Luke P did that a lot, but you're never like, so Katie, tell me about you. Like, what do you like? Like, it's just about how strong their connection is, but it's not that strong if you're not talking. Like,
yeah. And, like, I'd be asking, do you like Star Wars and stuff like that? That's why you need to hashtag JWade for Bachelor, because fat guys deserve love too.
Yes, great, wonderful. I loved how Thomas starts doing his, like, speech thing, and he's like, yeah, it's crazy. I didn't come here for you. I mean, he was honest. He was 100% honest. Like, I didn't come here for you. I came here for this platform. And he's like, but I think what he was trying to say, like, trying to pull the Jed, where Jed said, like, I came here for my music, but now I'm in love with you and whatever, and it worked out for him. And I think he was trying to do the same thing, saying, like, I came here for this platform, but I'm so surprised that this worked, and I'm really into you, and that doesn't really matter to me anymore. So, like, I don't think he's wrong. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he really likes Katie. I think he's being a salesman and trying to pitch himself, and I think he's just playing a game. But they start accusing him of just being there to be the Bachelor. And I hate this storyline because we talked about it, and everyone talks about it. Like, even if you aren't intentionally going on the show to become the Bachelor, every single one of those guys have had a fleeting thought, like, oh, well, it doesn't work out. Like, I could at least end up on Paradise, or I'll get a couple followers, or maybe I'll be the Bachelor. But, like,
I guarantee you at least the guys, because I can't speak for y'all ladies, but at least the guys are thinking this before they even apply. They're like, they don't care who the girl is. They don't
know who the Bachelorette is until they like, day before.
They don't care either. They're in their mind, here's the guy's perspective on it. Dude, I'm going to go on this show, and, like, I'm going to try to hook up with this super hot chick. And if it works out, then I got this super hot chick. If it don't, then, like, I'll have this platform. I'll have a bunch of other hot chicks around where I live that want to get
exactly.
Maybe I could be the next bet. Dude, they have these thoughts before they even submit their application.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, dude, it's natural. It's natural. It's natural.
There's if one person.
Hold on, Sarah. If you and Nick are talking about what to get for dinner, and you both agree that you want Kentucky Fried Chicken, and you get there and KFC is closed, are you just, like, not gonna have fucking dinner that night?
Yeah, we're gonna. No, we're gonna go to Chick-fil-A or Popeyes. Yeah, you're right. It's just one of those things where, like, not every guy is going to be into Kate. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're not all going to be compatible. And a lot of them have said, like, other contestants have said, oh, I knew from, like, the second week that I was not going to end up with them, but I just stayed along for the booze and for the fun and for the girls and, like, the guy, you know what I mean? Like, they know, but I would still stay on the show. Like,
right. Yeah,
let's be honest. I just hate that whole narrative of, like, we gotta call out the person that has bad, like how they all ganged up on Thomas at the end. But I want to be clear. I don't like Thomas. I think he's full of shit. Yeah, it's my favorite part of the episode. He's talking to Katie, and Katie is like, "Yeah, you mentioned you have some red flags. Now it's just me and you here, and you said He said I have a list of red flags. He said I can tell you everything I've ever done wrong, every lie I've ever told. Just ask me about it." Which is just something that you can tell he's just, like, saying this shit out of his ass. Like, he's just like, I'm great, I'm wonderful. So she's like, oh, I would, like, are you comfortable telling me some of those red flags that you have? He's like, yeah, he dodges the question. And then she's like, that's great. I love her. I love how she just called it out. And she's like, that's great, you're dodging my question. And he was like, yeah, like, I'll never dodge a question again, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, okay, do you have any red flags? And he's like, yeah, I'm an open book. No, he said, I won't dodge any questions. I'm an open book. What do you want to know? And she's like, I don't know. I don't know what. Like, he never answered the question. It was the same thing with Carl. Where Carl was like, yeah, I got names, and these people are here for the wrong reasons. She's like, who? And he's like, let's not talk about it.
I'm such a good man. This is what that was. I'm such a good man that I'm going to let you know that you should be looking out for some deception. But I'm also such a good man that I'm not going to rat out other guys.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that just means you're full of shit.
Yeah.
No.
You can tell Thomas have never had to work for a woman or compete for a woman in his whole life. Like, you can tell. Like, the way he talks to her, the way, like, you can tell, like, his looks has got him far. Like, he is just laying on that truck. Because when he says something to her, like, I'm not going to say the scary word, but I'm getting to feel that way or whatever. And, like, she's like, oh, but I don't think they kissed. And I thought it went well. And then he leaves and he's like,
She did kiss him.
No, the first time he talked to her.
First time, right.
And he was like, he said that didn't go the way I wanted it to, and I think it's because she didn't kiss him. And he was like, yeah, I'm really rattled. I don't get rattled. And I was like, that's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. She rattled you because she actually called you out on your bullshit about the red flags, and then you didn't know what to say, and you got rattled because she actually wants to know you. And so then he goes back, interrupts Aaron, which I don't like Aaron. I think Aaron's so annoying and is just trying to cause fights. And he just sits there with his mouth open, and I'm just like, it bothers me so much. He goes, interrupts Aaron because he has something really important to tell her. He says love and fear is the same emotion, and then kisses, they make out. And he goes back, and then he tells the guys that he told her that he was falling in love with her, which, I'm going to be honest, the first time I watched the episode, I wasn't really paying attention at that part, so I was like, he did? But he didn't. He didn't say he was falling in love with her. What? Like, this guy, oh my god.
It was disrespectful as fuck of him.
It was so Aaron's like, he was like, so you just went in there because you wanted more time with her.
Right.
And he was like, yeah, and Aaron said, oh, well, so you think that you're more important than my time? And he said, yeah. Like, he straight up said, yep.
Like, whoa.
Yeah, I was like, the thing with Thomas is that he's honest to a fault. Like, dude, don't say, I mean, I don't care. Say the next Bachelor thing is fine, whatever. But, like, dude, don't tell, like, I don't know. He's just so stupid. And then Hunter's trying to confront him and is like, hey, maybe don't say that kind of shit because you're upsetting people. Like, and then he starts to be like, well, I'm not here for the guys. I don't really care. And in my head, I'm like, you just saw how all of the men influenced getting Carl out of the house. Like, do you seriously want that to happen to you? Like, come on. I don't know. He's just being stupid.
That guy's a moron.
He really is. He's so dumb.
I see a lot of these guys on the show, and I'm like, how do they get chicks, man? Like, how do they fucking get chicks? Like, I mean, you talk about putting in work, dude. I have put in years and years of work with, like, very little to no payout whatsoever. And, like, I look at these fucking douchebags, man, and I'm like, how?
We like the douches. We like the douches.
Yeah. It's a girl thing. It's not a me thing. I'm good to go. It's a chick thing.
I do have a side note. Hunter is the one that has like the sleeve tattoo.
Okay.
Who talked about his really sad story about the divorce with his wife and working a lot and the 2 kids and was like crying and tearing up and really, really sad. I really don't like Hunter. I'm really sorry, but his voice really irritates me. It's really cliche thing. His voice bothers me, and I hate it. I didn't realize I hate it. It gets under my skin when any contestant calls the lead, mainly when the guys call the lead girl, my girl, or girl. I hate that. She's not your girl. She's not your girlfriend. She's not your girl. Stop it. And Hunter keeps doing it. He keeps going, that's my girl. And I'm like,
yeah,
stop it. You haven't talked to her. Like, I don't understand. Like,
yeah.
And then he told Katie, like, I'm starting to seriously develop deep feelings for her. And I'm like, from where? What are you talking about? Because you wrote her a poem last week? Like, I'm so confused. Like, I don't like Hunter. The last thing I want to talk about before we get into the Fantasy League update and the Rose thing that we do. Let's talk about Michael's date. Michael is the one that had the kid, and they did the dune buggies, and she flipped the dune buggy. Oh my god!
Coming a mile away.
Oh, that was great. She was like, "I'm good."
Yeah. I mean, she's a fun person. You could tell, like, she likes things that are fun and that are maybe not dangerous, but riskier than like playing horseshoes or croquet in the back. You know, so that's cool. She's a great lead. She's a great
Oh
leader.
yeah.
I just wouldn't date her if I had the opportunity to.
I wouldn't date her either, but she is a great lead. I do want to say, Katie, at the end of the group therapy date, did open up and share about her non-consent, is what she was calling it, experience. And I thought that was really brave of her to do. Honestly, I think it was brave of all the guys that did share things, knowing that this was also going to be on national TV. So I really do give props to everyone, and especially Katie, even when she said, like, my mom doesn't know this. Like, oh my gosh. And these kind of stories have popped up the most recent, like, Bachelor seasons. And I think that the producers, Bachelor, whatever, handled the situation very well. Just as far as I didn't feel like it was very exploited or anything. I didn't really, like, the last time there was a contestant a couple seasons ago who shared about her sexual assault, and it was like all over the previews, and it was kind of marketed as like, tune in to see Kaylin's secret, and it was just in really poor taste. And I don't think they really advertise. It's not the right word, but you know what I mean. Like, I didn't see this promote. They didn't really promote this, which is great, and it shouldn't be. I just think it was handled very well. They had the hotline number during the break of it, and I just thought it was handled very well. And yeah, and I think it Katie talking about how, like, that experience has gotten her to the woman that she is today, and really talking about, I mean, she even talked about, like, how hard it is. It made more sense what she means as being a sex positive person. Like, for me, it kind of cleared things up to kind of understand, like, oh, because she used to hate it, and now she's gotten to a point because of work and therapy and all this stuff that now she looks at it in this, like, light, or is very positive about it. And I think that's very encouraging and very inspirational. So props off to Katie and all that stuff for that. And I want to end it with the Michael date. I do like how she told Michael was like, yeah, I knew you were in control the whole time. And she was like, yeah, I actually flipped and broke it. But yeah, I thought that was really funny. I love Michael. I love him so much. I just think he's the cutest little thing. Like, he's so precious. Like, we knew I forgot he was the widower, but Pookie brought it up, and Pookie was right. I just loved how he would say, like, my wife Laura. I think her name was Laura. And it was just, like, just the way he, like, looks at love, and saying, the one line he said was, everyone keeps saying this ends in an engagement, but really the engagement's just the beginning. I was like, I'm tearing up now. I'm like, that's so beautiful. Like, he just seems so sincere to me, and so just, like, really cares about Katie and really wants a wife, which part of me is kind of like, why go on this show? But okay. All right. I don't know. I think he's so sweet. I think the story was really, of course I cried. I thought it was just very, I don't know. I loved him. I loved the way he talked to Katie. I loved how Katie said that, I know some people might be kind of intimidated by the fact that that you have a wife that's passed away, and that you're saying that, like, he still kind of calls her his wife and says, I'll always love her and stuff like that. And I thought that was a really interesting point that Katie brought up, saying, like, I know people might be intimidated by that, but to me, like, I'll never feel second best or feel, whatever, like, what she was trying to say. And I don't know if Michael knew that her dad passed away. I'm not sure if she's, like, shared with all the guys. So, I mean, there was another thing that they could also connect on, kind of similar to Greg, where she does understand. I mean, it's completely different. It's different. It's a spouse and a father, different kind of love, but, like, same loss. But
Oh yeah.
and then he asked if he could kiss her, and I just thought that was so sweet.
That was the only part of the episode that I really actually enjoyed, was that one-on-one. So
He's just so sweet. I don't see it working out between them.
No.
I would
Because
love.
he's so...
Yeah, I just don't think that he's her type. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't think Katie is. I guess I can't speak from her, but I don't think she's in the point in her life where she wants to be a stepmom. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I think that's a step that she's going to have to consider, like, as well. I mean, it's not, you're going to be raising a kid and a child, and that's something really real. Like we keep saying, like, that is a real thing that she's going to have to get adjusted to really quickly. And still, I mean, that was only 2 years ago, and Michael even said, like, it's not something that you just get over. Like, he's still going to be dealing with those emotions and feelings as well. Like, that's really big. But I would love to see him be the Bachelor. I'm going to be honest. Like, or Paradise. If he doesn't go to, I think he'll go pretty far. I would like to see him on Paradise.
How about having him as the Bachelor and only casting ladies who are single parents?
That'd be great.
You know what I mean? Then you wouldn't. Then you could definitely eliminate any issues like that, where like lady's not ready to be a stepmother. You've got this guy who has a child. He's a widower. He's looking for someone to be his wife and to help him raise his child. Why not give him women to choose from who are in that same position but reverse obvious?
We had a single father, Jason Mesnick, I think like 10, 11 years ago. So it'd be great to revisit that dynamic again. And then there was a Bachelorette, Emily Maynor, a couple of years ago, who was a widower and a single mother as well. And she actually had her daughter with her the whole time. Like, that was her agreement or whatever. But yeah, I love Michael. I love him so much. And I hope he's probably one of my favorites so far. Probably my only favorite, I'm going to be honest. And with that, let's jump in real quick. Okay, I'm going to give an update on our fantasy league. So, okay, so me and Jay were very ambitious with our first go around with a fantasy league. Probably bit off a little bit more than we could chew, but you know what? It's okay. It's fine. We're working out the kinks for next time. We have decided as a team that we are, instead of doing like points and stuff like that, we're going to really figure that out, get together, talk about that for Michelle's season, next season of Bachelorette. It's one of those things that you don't really you can't really predict how it's going to go until you get into the middle of doing it. And we're like, this is not, it's causing too much stress and we're all arguing and it's just not worth it. So
with some of the descriptions of what.
Yeah. But it's a learning experience and that's what we're here for. I know we'll be back better than ever. But Pookie suggested a couple weeks ago that we just make it more as whoever actually drafted the winner wins the fantasy league instead of trying to do points and do it that way, which we are going to finish the rest of this season doing it that way. So I'm going to read off the list of who still has who left on their team at this point. And if you don't know who they are, it's fine. But that way we just know moving forward some of the guys are left and who has which people. So I still have 4 of my original 7 left. I have David, I have Brendan, Connor C, and Andrew M. I am going to win. I don't know who any of these men are, but I'm going to win. All right. Kaylin has 2 of her 7 left. She has Courtney and James, the box guy.
Courtney with a Q.
Courtney with a Q. Jay Wade has 5 of his 7 left. He has Thomas. You got stuck with that one. Thomas, Justin, eyebrow guy who's kind of growing on me with all his facial expressions. I really like him. He's got Greg, Trey, and Josh. Don't know who that is. And Pookie / Darren has 6 of his 7 guys left. His person to go home was Carl. So he was doing very well. Pookie has...
Hold on. I didn't draft Carl?
No.
I thought I did. I don't feel
No.
anymore. I was feeling really bad because I drafted that asshole. All right.
No, you had John and I forget the other person.
Cool.
No, Pookie had Carl.
Okay.
Pookie has Michael, Mike P, the Virgin, Connor B, Catman, Andrew S, British guy. He's got all the fan favorites. Hunter, Tattoos, who freaks me out. I don't like him. And Boston Christian with the sweater that like sometimes talks. So, moving forward, we'll keep an update, I guess, on the people that go home. We won't be doing like points and stuff like that, but I'll keep you updated on how many of us have people left. I think I'm going to be out next week. I'm going to be honest. Me and Kaylin not doing so hot. And with that, we introduced a new segment a couple weeks ago, giving a rose, our own special color rose that has its own meaning for someone that we feel like was unjustly sent home too early. Jay, why don't you kick us off?
I wonder if we gave a rose to the same person.
I have a backup just in case.
I am giving a black rose to Carl.
Oh,
yeah.
Not the same person.
The color black has often been synonymous with death and mourning and is usually used at funerals. That guy is such a piece of shit, he is dead to me.
Dang, okay. All right, well, I'm going to give a yellow rose to John, who was the Asian guy, who was like very sweet and always like kind of like just the one from the wrestling date last week who was like, they're gonna break me. Like,
Right.
He got gone too soon. We didn't get to see enough of him. And so sad. He'll probably be on Paradise, which I'm really hoping. I'm giving him a yellow rose, which it says, while it used to symbolize jealousy, it is now the symbol of friendship, joy, and caring. And he ultimately got friend-zoned, so he is getting the yellow rose because there was no romantic connection between him and Katie. Sad to see you go so soon. Carl, hope to never see you again. Bye-bye. And that's going to be the end of our show here. It was a fun... Things got a little heated. We had some good discussions. And yeah, I was excited. I can't wait for next week. I'm really looking forward. We might have... Oh, also, no one drafted Aaron. I forgot to bring this up. None of us drafted Aaron, which might have been a good thing. So if Aaron wins, then we all lose.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we also didn't draft someone that might be showing up soon. So we'll see. Until next time, Jay Wade, where can the people follow you?
Y'all can follow me at jwade1134. That's the letter J, W-A-D-E, 1134 on the Twitter and on Stereo if you want. I don't mess around much on there anymore. But also, please follow this channel at the JCast Network on the Twitter. And please subscribe. We got a couple other shows right now that we do on Fridays. A Star Wars shit show where right now we're talking about the Mad Batch. Sarah is also on that show as well. That is Fridays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And Saturdays, I host a sports talk show devoted to Movie Trivia Schmodown League called the Movie Trivia Schmodown. And that goes down Saturdays at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Be there for that. Good times.
And you can follow the show on Twitter at Go Get That Rose. You can follow me personally at SCBOC, SSEABOCK. It is right here. And I am hosting the Loki recap show over on Merc with a Movie Blog with Jay, Sean, and Dean. It is a lot of fun. They talk over me a lot. It's a handful. I will actually not be on this week because I will be working, unfortunately. But I would rather be hosting. But I will be back, hopefully, next week to recap the rest of it. And yeah, I think that's it. I think that's everything. We'll be back next week to talk more Bachelorette. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Oh, hold on. Let me actually.
Wow.